Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Speak Your Mind. My name is John Lewis. Unfortunately, my co-host Richard DeCastro is unable to be with us tonight. But before we get into the meat of the night and the things that I'd like us to keep an open mind and be engaged in open discussions with, I'd like to inform you that the Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis is at this moment at the Althea Scatliff Junior School. And you are invited, if you're a national of St. Kitts Nevis or just a national of the Eastern Caribbean, you are invited to go by and listen to what the Prime Minister has to say. I'm certain he will tell us of the developments likely to be happening in the state, and you will come away better informed. Okay, there are a number of issues that I would like us to weigh in on tonight, and the first one is the search for president of the H.L. Stout College, the H. Laverty Stout Community College. Now, for those of us who are aware of what's happening, there is an interim president and there is a search for a new president. Now, here are some facts that I gleaned from the ad that was put out. There's a student body of more than 1,000, and this college, offers technical, vocational, adult continuing, and university training programs. Now, the new president is going to be responsible for the academic and administrative matters pertinent to the college and to the government and people of the Virgin Islands. The person is responsible for maintaining the accreditation, the accountability, the improvement in the better development of the Virgin Islands. So if you know of anyone in the community, or if you know of anyone who has the interest of our country at heart, please ask him or her to look on the government website or in the Beacon of last week, and you will see that advertisement in there. Now, the person should be disciplined, organized, must have a proven track record, must be a team builder, results-oriented, and that application must reach the persons at the college on or before November 30th. Now, most of us would have had some experience dealing with the college. That's where our young men and women go once they leave, at least most of them. When they leave high school, they go there. It's their first step into the world of academia. And we want the best for our college. It is said that millions of dollars are provided on a yearly basis for the provision of an education for all country. And I'm sure that you will all have your input on it. I am also certain that if you call 300-1949 and give us your opinions, or if you care to send us a text at 300-1950, you can share your information with the powers that be. If the process is one that is not one that you like, let us know. If there are things that you think this person who should be leading the college should be aware of, it would be nice if you let us know. Now, I've just outlined some of the things that this person is responsible for. If you think there are some additional measuring sticks, measuring rods that this person should be aware of, let us know. And it would be good if I'm sure the people who are responsible for the selection are looking at this program, listening to this program, and would welcome your input. For example, does this person need to be a Virgin Islander? Does this person need to be from the Caribbean? Should the person come from someplace out of the region? What are some of the nuances that he should be aware of if he or she will do the correct job for the improvement of our education in the Virgin Islands? I can remember when I was attending the University of the Virgin Islands, as a student, I was allowed to interview and interact with members or people who were applying for jobs to work at the college, especially professors, and they had interaction with the students. And most recently, when the president of the Virgin Islands was being selected, I can remember going to St. Thomas and having discussions and interacting with students and Dr. Hall. And when he was selected, I can remember him coming to the Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, to meet with the alumni and giving them update on his stewardship. Now that is the process that I'm hoping that we can encourage, not just simply to have 20, 30 people applying and the selection is made, and then at the end of the day, the student population, the faculty and staff and the country will be told, here is your new president. Perhaps one suggestion could be that in the final 5, 6, that they be allowed to interact and be questioned by the students, by the faculty, and by the community in open forum, not just behind closed doors, but we have the Eileen Parson Auditorium. We should have an opportunity to have that person sit on stage and make a presentation to us. Let us hear what his plans are. Let us question, so that at the end of the day, when the selection is made, we can say, we had input into that selection. And at the end of the day, should he fail, we can't blame him or her, because we would have assisted or we would have been a part of the process. So that's the first thing that I would like us to consider tonight. The other thing that came to mind for tonight's program is the public library. I am pleased that we are going to be having a public library. I am pleased that it's going to be moved into a location that is user-friendly. I have no qualms about the fact that for the elderly, getting to the old library was often problematic. But this new location in Passia, the former Clarence Thomas hardware store, has a ramp. It is practically at a good level that you can roll your wheelchair up if you have one, or if you're elderly, you can walk up the ramp and be in an environment that would be conducive to your well-being. You don't have to compete for parking like you did in Road Town, because there is adequate parking. The building is of such that the staff will have its own quarters. Selected documents could be in secured areas, and you will be pleased with it at the end of the day. The one or two minuses that I would suggest is getting from Road Town to the library. And perhaps that is something that needs to be fully considered. And perhaps one suggestion could be a shuttle where those who don't have transportation could meet at a specific area in town and be transported to and from the library, maybe on the hour, on the half hour, whatever we can do to make the use of the library meaningful. But the big question is, we have a new location. What of a national library and museum? Are we going to allow this idea to just die because we now have the library relocated? Perhaps the powers that be should seriously consider getting members of the public together to form a committee that would assist the decision-making process in the construction of a national library and museum. That is the suggestion I would make relative to the library. Again, if you care to call us at 300-1949, you are free to do so. If you prefer to send us a text, you can do so at 300-1950. Okay, I will invite you to call in at your earliest convenience and let us have your input. Today at Nanny Key, Kids on the Sea had another successful ending of its swim program. Today, some 94 young men and women had graduation exercises. Today, 94 young men and women will be safer in the sea. So you can now feel more sure that if you took your children to the beach, they will know how to take care of themselves. As a result of this, perhaps it is fitting for us to thank Nanny Key for allowing us to use its pool, the BVI Olympic Committee, which wrote the cost of putting the program together, and the young men and women who volunteered their Saturday mornings to the help of other young men and women. But there's an appeal that I would like to make. Nanny Key's pool is a private pool. It is time that we had a national pool, a pool that more people can have access to, a pool that can be used to train our Olympians, and better yet, if we had a swimming complex, not just one pool, but several pools for different activities. For example, water polo, synchronized swimming, diving, a pool that can be used for the less abled, a pool that can be used for teaching our young men and women how to swim safely, and a pool that can be used on a year-round basis and become, who knows, a tourist attraction or a training attraction for people from different parts of the world who would love to come to this part of our country and train during the cold months in their country. So that is something that I would like to make this appeal for. If anyone out there has 2 or 3 acres of land that they would like to lease or sell for the sole purpose of an aquatic center, an aquatics complex, please let us know. You can call us at 300-1949 and let us know after the show, or you can just send us a text and we'll take the message and be in contact with you. So again, congratulations to Barbara Gurka and her team, to Nanny Key, to the BVI Olympic Committee, and the volunteers for the wonderful program that was concluded today. Now, we won't have another program until next spring because we're going into the tourism season. The hotel requires the use of its pool for its guests, and generally the water gets colder as we go into the November, December, January months. And so we really don't like using it, but that's not for us to worry about. It's going to be certainly warmer for the visitors than where they normally would come from. Okay, so that is it for the moment. We will come back with you after a break, and we will talk about some other matters. So in the meantime, please stay tuned and support the people who make this show possible.
Police are gone right at the last left turn, you know.
Reggie, the directions are gonna go straight.
Oh, you go and tell me about them stupid directions when the map is right here.
Let me see the map. Let me see the map, man.
So now you want to see the map?
Give me the map, man.
Alright.
No, we passed there so already.
Oh.
Make a right, go 100 meters, and that's the destination.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from getting lost. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
The nice thing about the National Bank is that they are actually true to their concept of being a national bank in terms of understanding the needs of all islands. They understood what we needed at New Horizon Ferry Services in expanding our offerings to improve shipping across our islands. Because we have been in this business now for many years and established a good relationship with the bank, they saw our track record and they understood what we needed to expand our business. And together, we have formed a great partnership that is helping our business to grow.
Paradise means being able to expand our business at the right time.
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official Bank of Paradise.
Alz Marine Air Conditioning and Refrigeration specialize in servicing and repairing units such as Daikin, Marine Air Tech, Mitsubishi, TGM, York. Any type that you call, we can install. We also work on commercial and residential units in houses, boats, cars, and company buildings. If you even need some cool breeze for your dog house or horse stable, we would not hesitate. We are always able. No job is too big or too small for Alz Marine Limited. For our home and restaurant customers, we also service and install all your appliances such as ovens, stoves, washers, dryers, refrigerators, and freezers. You can contact us at 494-4529 or 340-3791 or email us alzmarine@surfbvi.com. Alz Marine is located in Purcell Estate Road, Town, Tortola. Alz Marine Limited, your number one choice.
Thank you, Yellow Pages from Family Support Network for your generosity and your donation towards our cause. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
On behalf of Global Directories, the parent company of Yellow Pages BVI, we wish students, parents, and our educators in the Virgin Islands every success in this school year. At Yellow Pages, we care.
Thank you, BVI Yellow Pages.
What kind of party this?
Them they bring the music.
Seriously?
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from party disasters. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
Okay, we're back. For several weeks, we have been appealing to you for your contributions to the folks, our brothers and sisters in Haiti. And as a Rotarian, I'm pleased to inform you that to date we have collected from you, or generous people, some $37,000, and most of this would have been sent to the president, the district governor-elect, Dr. Leguier, in Haiti, so that they can buy the things that they need to get their lives back together. And like we indicated, most of this money would be spent buying galvanized so that they can replace the roofing on their homes, and the water purification systems. And these systems are intended to provide clean water, safe water for the people so that we can minimize the outbreak of cholera. We are still appealing to your help. The boxes are still at the Scotiabanks. In some businesses, you can still find little canisters asking you to drop your pennies and your 5 cents and your 10 cents in there, and it all adds up to dollars, which would be of help. It is good to relate to you that the cost of a sheet of galvanized in Haiti is like $4 or $5. So if you put $20 in there, you can have 4 sheets. If you put $40, you can have 8 sheets of galvanized, which will literally cover the cost of a roof, or $50 for a system that can produce and provide 300 gallons of clean water on a daily basis. So please continue to think of our brothers in Haiti. And now for a fun part of tonight. I am certain that most of you are like me. You are fixated on the United States elections, which should be held on November 8th. And there are 2 candidates, one from the Republican Party, Donald Trump, and one from the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton. And according to the pundits, they're both bad. But the big laugh for me is, which is the lesser of the 2 evils? And I'm sure Shakespeare would have a great time looking at these 2 candidates and trying to write a play around them. But anyhow, I know at some point we talked about the elections here, and we had a caller who had a very different opinion. He thought that I supported one person, and I was just talking about him in general. But what do you think the outcome of this election will be? You are free to weigh in on this. Call us and tell us what you think. Call us and let us know if you favor one party over the other. And ironically, the outcome of these elections will influence what happens to our economy in the future. You may ask, how? Well, the Republican wants to give massive tax breaks, reduce the income tax level so that people will have more disposable income. If that were to work, then perhaps more people can travel and come to the Virgin Islands and enjoy what we have. The Democratic candidate has a very different approach. And her approach is to have a massive government intervention with new programs, such as building of new roads, repairs to the infrastructure, putting more people to work, putting making it easier for the generation of clean energy. Now, Mr. Trump says, I'm going to let the coal miners provide us with more fossil fuel. And that would, of course, interfere with the recent climate change agreements that Obama and the other leaders of the world initiated. So, what is your take on this? You can text us at 300-1950, or you can call us and give us your input on 300-1949. It would be interesting to hear your views on the matter. Now, since we can't vote, it really won't make a big difference, but it can be considered an intellectual exercise. And what we see in the United States can also influence our political direction in the Virgin Islands. Having said that, here is a story that I would like to relate to you. I'm walking along the street two days ago, and this friend says, so after the Premier leaves China, he's going to London. I said, I heard that. And this friend says, but he's going to be talking about constitutional reform. And I said, I heard that. But then he says, oh, how is he going to talk about constitutional reform when we as a people haven't had our input? And I said, I don't know. Perhaps the powers that be would have looked at the constitutional reform that we were engaged in 2006, that came into being in 2007. And we've seen some of the things that didn't mesh with what we want, and they feel that they can change those things now. And he goes on to say, but you're supposed to know. Well, I should know, but I don't know. And if there's anyone out there who thinks that perhaps the Premier could have or should have had a town meeting and invited our input, what do we want to see? I know recently one member of the House talked about independence and talked about keeping control of our destiny, but I'm not sure that I heard what the solutions are or will be. Perhaps we could have had town hall meetings so that the Premier could have gotten the pulse, or even if the Premier wasn't the one to be engaged in it, he certainly has a Deputy Premier and he has other members of the executive who could have engaged the people in the matter and relay those concerns to the Premier, so that if and when he did meet with the folks in Whitehall in London, he would have had a very good idea as to what it is we the people would like. So my friend said to me, does the country have views on the new constitutional direction? And perhaps, just perhaps, I can remember the sparse turnout for the constitutional review process in 2005, 2006. Perhaps the approach could be different. Perhaps the people in the districts could be asked to select people to represent the districts on that commission. And it has nothing to do with what the government may choose to select or whom the government should choose to select for the commission. But at least the districts would have some measure of representation so that when the time does come for opposition and the government to go to London, one side can say, we got 90% of what we want, and the other side says, we got 100% of what we want. We need to have a situation where we get 100% of what we want to see us moving forward. Now, if we studied any political science, we will realize that we don't have many options, but we can have a combination of these options. And whether these options can be applied or examined and presented could be a part of the process. In other words, if the government of the day has a set of ideas, why not let us, the people, have a look at these ideas, thrash them out, agree, disagree, modify, amend, whatever word we care to use. If we can just have an idea as to what the constitutional reform process is likely to give, then we may end up with something better. We may end up with the same, but certainly it wouldn't be any worse than what we have. So that's another topic that is of interest, and I am inviting you to call us at 300-1949 or 300-1950 for your say. It is time that you spoke your mind, because part of the breakdown of the system is the result of us not speaking our minds. If the powers that be don't hear us because we don't speak, then our views don't count. And the powers that be is now in a position to expound on its views and its positions, because in the absence of nothing, they have to have something. Now, folks, this is the time for you to speak your mind. And in speaking your mind, we know that others listen. Okay, so I still haven't heard anyone calling about the U.S. elections. But don't think that we're alone looking at the outcome. The world is looking at this. The world is concerned about who will represent the United States in the world, and they have their opinions. And I believe you have yours also. So why don't you give us a call at 300-1949 and let us share your views. Okay, now, so we've looked at the selection of a president for the college. We've looked at the constitutional reform process. We have looked at the library, the Kids in the Sea graduation, and the appeal for some lands to build a pool. And we're now talking about the U.S. elections. We've also talked about the Haiti Relief Fund that's ongoing. And just a friendly reminder that the Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is at the Althea Scatliff Primary School. They would be halfway into their program, I'm sure. If you do have some time, please go by, mix, mingle, ask your questions of the state of affairs of the country of your birth and the country that you love, and come away feeling that it's in good hands. Okay, we will take a break, and when we come back, I'm hoping that we can have your input as you speak your mind.
Place spaghetti in boiling water, add tomatoes, sweet peppers, and onion, and presto, you have spaghetti marinara.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from last-minute dinner dilemmas. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
Here in the Virgin Islands, we are blessed to live and work in paradise. Paradise just doesn't mean our tranquil blue waters and green hills. National Bank of the Virgin Islands defines paradise as any place or condition that fulfills your aspirations.
To me, paradise means knowing that I will have a financing partner when I'm ready to open my first business.
I feel confident that I can manage whatever life throws my way because I know my bank will be with me every step of the way.
That's why I choose National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
My future's looking so bright, 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 bright. With the official bank of paradise,
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
Welcome to our newly renovated Botanic Service Station to serve you better and faster. We carry Sol Gasoline, the best gas that will take you further and keep your engine running cleaner. To make that delicious meal at home or restaurant, we have LPGs from 20 pounds to 100 pounds, readily available for your easy pickup right here at Botanic Station. While you are here, check out our deli for finger-licking snacks from pizzas, hot wings, patties, cakes, all made fresh every day, and cold drinks that's always cold. Need oil for your vehicle? We carry a wide selection of vehicle maintenance products. We are open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily.
Last left turn, you know.
Reggie, the directions I got to go straight.
Oh, you go and tell me about them stupid directions when the map is right here.
Let me see the map. Let me see the map.
So now you want to see the map?
Give me the map, man.
Alright.
No, we passed there, so already. Oh.
Make a right, go 100 meters, and that's the destination.
Having Digicel data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from getting lost. Start using Digicel data today. Digicel.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I did receive a text and it said both candidates are flawed, but one is totally mad. Okay, I want to thank you for that text. And that is perhaps true. Now, last night but before I say that, I had always been hearing of this basketball league at the Xavier Seed basketball facility in Duff's Bottom. And I decided to go by there last night and I looked at 2 games. And I was totally impressed with the enthusiasm and the ball handling skills of many of these young men. I saw different characters playing different roles. And while some people around me were really upset, I looked at it as a really good exercise in human being. Some are really competitive, some are defensive, some are aggressive, and some are just smart. And one of the things that I perhaps understood more after last night is the role very small people play in what is supposed to be a big man's game. And the smaller guys were the ones who were the most impressive for me. But anyhow, if you do have the time, go to the Save the Seed facility in Dust Bottom and enjoy a few hours of really good entertainment. And the thing I like about the basketball concept is that when your young men and women are playing basketball, they could only be playing basketball. And at the end of the day, they're so drained and tired that they really can't get into a lot of mischief. Okay, now, so I want to thank those people who saw me and wondered if I was lost. No, I wasn't lost, I was just curious. Anyhow, again, I'm reminding you of the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, who is at the Altius Catliff Primary School. Please go by and have a listen. And I'm surprised that I didn't get any responses to the selection of a new president for our college. Now, folks, once it happens, we're locked in. And I think we ought to, you can text me if you don't want to call, but let us hear of some of the concerns that you may have. And if you don't want to speak your mind tonight on the matter, there will be time for that. And please start putting on paper your concerns, because at the end of the day, whatever decision government makes or the selectors make, you and I have to pay for it. And somebody once said, if you're going to pay for something, you might as well know what you're paying for before you pay for it. Okay. Let's see if we haven't, no, we don't have any more messages. All right, so we will be saying thanks to you in a little while, because this has been an opportunity and an experience for me to be your host tonight. I am certain if Richard were here, we could have blown some of this stuff out of the ordinary into the extraordinary. But I would also like us to go by and congratulate the librarian on the location and the necessity, the need for us to have a library. There is no country that advances without securing and protecting its literary and museum type information. Okay, now if you care to send a text, please do so on 300-1950. And again, can we weigh in on the consultation of the community relative to constitutional reform? That is a major assignment, and we should be taking that seriously. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you choose not to call in or text, the things that I plan to talk about tonight have been exhausted. So I'm inviting you again to speak your mind. Oh, there's one subject that I think we need to talk about. 2 weeks ago, I met a young man on the street, and he should have been in school. And I'm nosy, so I said, "Why aren't you in school?" He said he was suspended. So I said, "Do you have a letter from the school saying you're suspended and you're sent home?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, does that make sense to you? How is your parent to know what your infraction was so that the parent or parents can help you with minimizing those issues?" He said, "Well, I didn't get one, but I was just sent home." Now, I don't know what the situation, I don't know what the stories are. I'm only replaying to you or relating to you what this young man said to me. And then another one said, I said to him, "Why aren't you in school?" He's sick. So I said to him, "Where are you going?" "Home." "Is anybody at home to take care of you?" "No." Well, just think about it. If the young man is sick and he's going home to an empty house, how is his ailment to be looked at? I could understand if he'd said to me, "Well, I was taken to the infirmary, I was taken to the hospital, my parents were called," because I asked him if anybody called his parents. He said no. And it seems strange to me that we can have two things happening from the same school. One, a young man sent out of school for whatever the reason, fighting, misbehaving, chatting, without a letter stating the period that he should be away from school for. There's no evidence of him having assignments so that while he's at home he can read or do assignments. And then the other one who said he's sick and is going home to an empty house. Now, folks, you have the children. We have to look out for them. I am not saying that what these two young men relate to me may be the truth, but even if they bent the truth somewhat, we still have to be concerned about them. We have to be concerned when we see young men and women on the streets at 10, 11 o'clock when they should be in school. And we should be concerned because at some point we were young. At some point someone showed concern for us. So we should be concerned about them. But again, my school days were a long time in the past, and I was really careful because if I did something in school, by the time I got home, my mother knew about it, and we didn't have telephones, we didn't have cell phones, but she knew. Anyhow, folks, since you have not responded to our concerns and the things we talked about tonight, but I know you've been listening, I know you've seen and heard the concerns raised, and you will meet me on the street next week and I will know that I did a bad job or a good job, and I want to thank you either way. And in the future, please call us and speak your mind. And until next week, when we come again, please be good to yourself and those around you. Good night.